Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, the week prior to that, we looked at the arkan, the integrals, the pillars of the salah, and we looked at the first three. This evening, inshallah, I'm probably looking at a very important one, a single one. And so the author states, وَقِرَاءَةُ الْفَاتِحَةِ وَبِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ آيَةٌ مِنْهَا. So the author says that one of the pillars or the arkan of the salah is the recitation of Surah Fatiha. And then the author continues and says, and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is one of the verses of Surah Fatiha. So we get, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, a very important fiqh ruling that applies here. And I think sometimes there's a lot of misunderstanding. Many people are not aware of the importance of the recitation of Surah Fatiha in the Salah. And we look at the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in which he says, "La salata liman lam yaqra bi Fatihatil Kitab," that there is no salah for the person who does not recite Fatihatul Kitab, which is Surah Fatiha. So, firstly, the recitation of Surah Fatiha is a pillar. But I thought let me also just touch on a few points relating to it. So I'm separating this pillar from the others for this evening, inshallah. Surah Fatiha is a pillar of the Salah. It must be recited by the Imam, by the Ma'moom, the person who is following the Imam, as well as a person who is performing Salah alone, independently. So sometimes, and this is of course in accordance with the Shafi'i madhab, when the Imam recites Surah Fatiha, the Shafi'i must recite Surah Fatiha thereafter. So in the Shafi'i madhab, it is also recommended for the Imam to pause after the recitation of Surah Fatiha to permit the Ma'moom, the person who is following the Imam, to recite Surah Fatiha. On a side note, the A'immatul Salah, Masjidut Taqwa, 2 weeks ago, we had a consultation and we briefed and agreed upon the fact that let us increase the pause slightly, and I'm also will mention it in the fiqh sessions that we have here. So importantly, my dear brothers and sisters and viewers and listeners, if you are following an imam, you still have to recite your Surah Fatiha, and this of course is in accordance with the Shafi'i madhab. Now, there are a few additional points here. If the pause after the Imam, if the Imam pauses and that pause is insufficient for you to complete your Surah Fatiha, what do? Which might be the case for many. So, when the Imam recites a part of the Quran or a surah, verses after Surah Fatiha, after the pause, if you have not completed it, then it is compulsory on you to complete the recitation. There are ulama who indicate that it is much better for you to listen to the recitation of the Imam, the recitation of the Quran. That is possible. However, you have to consider what is a rukun, what is now compulsory upon you over what is recommended, and that is listening to the Imam. So you must recite your Surah Fatiha, in its entirety. There is only one exception, when the Surah Fatiha of the Imam will suffice for the follower in the Shafi'i madhab. And that instance is when the Imam is essentially entering ruku', right? The Imam is entering ruku', and now you can no longer recite Surah Fatiha because the Imam is entering ruku'. So in that instance, if you see the Imam is about to enter, recite what you can from Surah Fatiha, and that once you enter ruku', if you have not completed Surah Fatiha, it is then lifted and the recitation of the Imam would suffice. That is the only instance. And then additionally, beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, when a person, of course, arrives late, naturally, you arrive late, you have to evaluate whether you have sufficient time for Surah Fatiha, right? So if you see that, okay, if you enter the Salah, you are able to recite a few verses, that will suffice. If you are unable to, and of course it is at the point of ruku', then you will be following the imam and the recitation would suffice. You won't have to repeat that rak'ah. And beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, additionally, when it comes to Surah Fatiha, it is critical that if the imam is Hanafi, in other words, the Imam would not recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim aloud, and the Shafi'i is following, then it is even more important that you recite it after the Imam. Now, in the Hanafi madhab, there are opinions regarding the pausing of the Surah Fatiha. So you often find when the Salah is led by a Hanafi Imam, the pause is minimal, it's not that extensive. For the Shafi'i following, the recitation of Surah Fatiha is critical, and as such, the Shafi'i follower must recite the Surah Fatiha while the Imam might be reading Qira'atul Quran, recitation of the Quran. Any questions relating to this rukun? Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Jazakum khair.